Every year, hundreds of people report receiving strange photographs from an unknown sender signed only as the phantom photographer. These photos always depict eerie, unsettling scenes from places and times the recipients have never been to. One such case involved a woman named Judith, who received a black and white photograph in the mail. The photo was of an old, dilapidated house with a single light on in the upstairs window. Judith had never seen this house before, but she felt an inexplicable sense of dread just looking at it. She decided to show the photo to her friend, Mark, who had a keen interest in paranormal activities. Mark did some research and found out that the house in the photo had burned down 50 years ago, with only one survivor, a child who had been trapped in that very room with the light on. This discovery sent chills down Judith's spine. Who could have taken this photo, and why did they send it to her? Mark suggested they visit the site where the house once stood. When they arrived, they found nothing but charred remains and overgrown weeds. But as Judith stood there, she felt a cold breeze and heard faint whispers. It was as if the past was trying to communicate with her through the photograph. The phantom photographer strikes again and again, always targeting individuals with no apparent connection to the locations in the photos. One theory suggests that these photos are a form of a message from the beyond, perhaps from spirits trying to communicate with the living. Another theory posits that the phantom photographer might be a time traveler, capturing moments lost to history and sending them to random people as a way of preserving forgotten tales. Regardless of the origin, these photos are always hauntingly precise in their detail, capturing moments that should be impossible to document. Take the case of Robert, a private investigator who received a photo in the mail showing an alleyway with a shadowy figure standing at the end. Robert recognized the alley as one he had often passed by on his way to work, but it was the figure that caught his attention. It resembled a man who had gone missing years ago, a case Robert had once worked on but never solved. The man in the photo wore the same clothes and had the same distinguishable scar on his cheek. Driven by curiosity and a sense of unfinished business, Robert decided to revisit the alley. As he stood there, he realized the setting was identical to the photograph, down to the graffitied wall and the cracked pavement. It was as if the photo had frozen a moment in time, one that Robert was now standing in. These mysterious photos often lead people to places they would never have ventured otherwise, uncovering long-buried secrets. Sarah, a history professor, received a photo of an ancient library that had been lost to time. Intrigued, she followed the clues in the photo to a remote part of Greece. There, she found the ruins of the library, exactly as depicted in the photograph, complete with crumbling columns and vine-covered walls. But the most startling discovery was inside, a hidden chamber filled with scrolls and artifacts that had been preserved for centuries. Sarah couldn't believe her eyes. It was as if the phantom photographer had guided her to this hidden treasure trove of history. Yet, the question remained, how did they know about it, and why choose her to receive this hidden knowledge? The phenomenon of the phantom photographer has baffled experts and amateurs alike. Some say it's a hoax, an elaborate prank played on the gullible, but those who have received the photos know better. The details are too precise, the timing too perfect to be a mere coincidence. For many, these photos have become a bridge between the past and the present, a way for the forgotten to be remembered. Lisa, a young artist, received a photo of a beautiful, abandoned theater. Captivated by its decaying elegance, she decided to visit the site and use it as inspiration for her next series of paintings. When she arrived, she found the theater exactly as it was in the photo, right down to the torn velvet seats and the grand chandelier hanging precariously from the ceiling. As she painted, she felt a deep connection to the place, as if the spirits of the past were guiding her brushstrokes. Each photograph from the phantom photographer is a mystery waiting to be unraveled, a story waiting to be told. They remind us that the past is never truly gone, and that history has a way of reaching out to us in the most unexpected ways. So, the next time you receive an unusual photograph in the mail, don't dismiss it as a prank. Look closer. You might just uncover a piece of history that was meant specifically for you. Perhaps the phantom photographer has chosen you as the keeper of an untold story, a guardian of a forgotten moment in time. Remember, the past is always watching, and sometimes it needs your help to be remembered.